We are live. Keep it going. Bring it back, Sister Michelle. And we are back, and we are live, and we are here.
All right, all right.
So this is what happens on a Thursday night when you all leave me with the controls.
All right.
Greetings. Welcome, Thursday Night Talks and Thursday Night Shenanigans with your sister Michelle. Anyway, welcome in, family. Welcome in, and welcome back. We've got a really exciting show if you don't leave me to the controls, but yeah, we're going to be good tonight. Really, no, seriously, we got a really good show. If you haven't had an opportunity to check our Facebook page and look at the title, you should. This is probably your moment. And also your moment to do what? If it'll show up for me. There you go.
Beautiful.
Please share. Please like.
Yes.
That's it. And if you're on YouTube, by the way, you can also go on there, subscribe and share with family and friends, grab a, cousin, go into your community, grab some neighbors. Everyone is welcome.
And your cousins too.
That's it. Exactly. So to kind of kick this thing off, we're going to start doing our rounds, but I just want to thank everyone for joining, for kind of being present last week for our reintroduction for the 7th Region Coalition Thursday Night Talks. If you didn't know, we have 2 additional co-hosts on the show. And so again, welcoming again, Sister Alicia Mohammed. Yes. Wonderful additions to the team. So just so again, before I dive in and hand off the mic to Sister Kalila, again, I just want to thank everyone for joining us this week for our exciting show. Like I always say, we have a peruse of items on our Facebook page that you can kind of go down and check out and revisit and re-listen as many times as you like. We have some phenomenal shows. And even if you go back to last week, we gave you our top 5, right? On everyone's pick. And I think there's probably much more shows we probably didn't make the top 5, but we're still fabulous. So I encourage you all to go back and look. But anyway, this is your sister Michelle welcoming you in. Good evening. If I did not say it, I probably didn't. Assalamu alaikum. To our family. That's right. And just thanking everyone. Doesn't matter if you're Muslim, non-Muslim, believer in God, we take it all. And I will be your moderator for this evening. Again, my name is Sister Michelle, if you did not know. And before I pass it off to Sister Kalila,
Yes.
Breathe.
I'm so happy that you're here. I just want to say that. And how much I appreciate you when you work the controls. So after that, pass the mic.
Oh my God. First of all, I love you all. I love you all so much
We
for
love you too.
allowing me to be handless um, by default. But I thank you all. And I want to first start off properly in the most holy name of Allah, bearing witness that there's no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet my brothers and sisters in the greeting words of peace in the beautiful Arabic language of Islam alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
First of all, I am excited. This is definitely something that is dear to my heart. And I know that I was sharing this with Sister Felicia in regards to what the minister has constantly been drilling into our head about this paradigm shift that's taking place. And it's definitely taking place on a spiritual level. And I definitely I want to be in the audience on this. I want to be able to embrace what we're about to hear, what we're about to learn. I know for a fact, I'm going to let you all know, the listening audience, this show is not going to be an hour. So get your popcorn and all that good stuff and your tea and your coffee and all that stuff, because this show is going to be very impactful. I'm just giving it to you raw. All right. So those of you who's actually been kind of feeling what I'm feeling, this shift is taking place in life. This new paradigm shift, as even with Minister Ava, may Allah be pleased with her, she even indicated that we're tapping into the hereafter. If anyone understand what that means. But this is part of the spiritual development of our culture, which is one of our 9 ministries. So I don't want to belabor the point. I want to definitely pass the baton off to our dear brother Tony, and he can take us further into the show. Brother Tony.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, Sister Kalila. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness to the oneness of Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the Supreme Being, to whom holy praises are forever due. I am forever thankful to Almighty God Allah for his intervention in our affairs and for raising one from among us that would be the pinnacle of example of our people all throughout the world. We thank Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I thank them both for not leaving us alone and preparing one for this hour to build the unity that we need. As our topic tonight, we're beginning the series on unity as the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives. We thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes,
We
sir.
would not be here if it was not for him.
That's right.
In their divine names, I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Peace be unto you. Abaragani, Hotep, Shalom, all the greetings of the
Shalom.
righteous. Buenos dias, buenas noches, sak pase. All the language that our people speak, we're greeting you in that language right now. And so, beloved family, we are very thankful to the honorable, for Allah, for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for being really the head of the 7th Region Coalition through our student regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, who soon after the 4th of July 2020 criterion message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he made a call to our student regional minister, and he assembled the forces here in the 7th Region to help warn our people about an experimental vaccine that the enemy had produced.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And we were put together to fact-find information to help save lives. And we started off coming up with a whole series of broadcasts just focused on that. But today we have expanded, as one of the surahs in the Quran is called the expansion.
That's
And you
right.
see our team expanding. And so we must expand, and we are going into different topics that are geared towards saving lives. Well, how is unity geared towards saving lives? We're going to get into that discussion here tonight with two of our wonderful and awesome student ministers who work their cities
Yes.
and are always pushing for unity in their cities. Unfortunately, Student Minister Abel will not be with us tonight due to unforeseen circumstances, but we have two others that will be introduced to you in just a moment. If you don't know who they are, they're on the flyer, but of course, we always do this with the 7th Region Coalition. We don't let the cat out the bag until we bring them on. But beloved family, here with this program, in our series on unity, we're beginning with the Ministry of Spiritual Development, which is the spiritual head, literally, of the 9 ministries. And so this ministry bears responsibility for assisting the individual member of the community in the process of heeding truth and right guidance, respect, honor, and obedience to the authority of the Creator in all aspects of life are essential to peace, harmony, freedom, justice, and equality. In the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, self-development is an absolutely essential component of the microcosm of the new world. It is not enough that we grow horizontally through the acquisition of farms, factories, banks, industry, trade, commerce, money, good homes. Horizontal growth alone is death. All dead things are on a horizontal level.
Yes.
Therefore, we must grow vertically, grow in uprightness, or we will be overcome by our horizontal growth. Excuse me. The foundation of this ministry are study and training units designed on the guidance of Allah God to produce self-examination, self-analysis, self-correction, and to quicken in each of us the self-accusing spirit. For it's only when we are awakened morally that we have to face the self-accusing spirit that leads to our resurrection. And that comes from the letter of introduction to self-improvement, the basis for community development. That's on that was published on December 12th, 1986, and discussing the Ministry of Spiritual Development. With that, I hand it over to who's going to be doing the introduction. I'm going to hand it over back to Sister Michelle. That will be continuing on with the introduction of our guests here tonight.
Okay, thank you, Brother Tony, and now I'm going to hand it over to Brother Mark.
Thank you, Sister Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'd like to introduce one of our powerhouse speakers. This is Student Minister Willie Muhammad. Minister Muhammad is a native of New Orleans. He graduated from Walter L. Cohen High School and received his bachelor's degree in secondary education from Xavier University. He is married to Sister Michelle Muhammad, and they have 2 beautiful daughters, Nandi and Azari. Minister Muhammad is a gifted playwright. He received the August Wilson Award and has had some of his works, such as A Forced Family Tradition, A Black Tragedy, and Color Me Dead, performed. He was also a member of the Black Drama Club while attending Xavier University. He has been honored to be one of the fellows in the Dr. Norman Francis, the longest standing president of Xavier, leadership program. Each fellow was approved by Dr. Francis. Mr. Muhammad is presently teaching history and social studies on the secondary level at a local high school in New Orleans. Mr. Muhammad is a tireless and innovative champion to the cause of projecting positivity in his community. He founded and is the host of the online show, I Have a Testimony, which chronicles the life and wisdom of such people as Rock Newman, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Dougie Fresh, Father Michael Flager, and many others. This successful program has become nationally recognized as a collection of contemporary historical facts rarely known to the broader public. Mr. Muhammad has done voiceover for a hip-hop album produced by New Orleans jazz musician Irvin Mayfield titled Supreme Beings. He has developed and spearheaded the conflict resolution program, which has allowed him to present and conduct training in over 25 cities. He is continually active in the city of New Orleans, building and strengthening relationships to benefit and educate citizens. This includes his outreach program, Friendships in All Walks of Life, which has hosted many community leaders, such as Big Chief Tyrone Caspi of the Mohawk Indians of the Mardi Gras Indians. He recently was honored by the Shriners of the Masonic Lodge of New Orleans, the Oriental Lodge, in a step towards unity and friendship. Mr. Muhammad was named to the position as the first ever honorary lecturer to the Shrine. He was very instrumental in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in helping the community survive and overcome the challenges presented by this monumental event. Mr. Muhammad worked with other activists who fought to see the law enforcement officers who injured and murdered a family in the Danziger Bridge in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Mr. Muhammad also served on the advisory board for the first female mayor of the city of New Orleans, Mayor Latoya Cantrell. Mr. Muhammad is available for interviews, community development consultation, and lectures. He enjoys working in the arts with museums, with musicians, and actors. However, his first love is to the youth. He strongly believes that the success of any future endeavor really belongs to them. Let us welcome student minister Willie Muhammad.
Awesome. Wait. But before you bring him up, though.
Okay. He's already brought up.
Oh, you already brought him up. Okay, well, Brother Willie, hold on 1 second, because there's another brother that was in the dugout with you that we want to make sure we bring up. Just hold on 1 second. It's our
Kalila has popularized that phrase dugout.
right, exactly.
It just means they're behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, the dugout, behind the scenes. But we have our student minister, Chad Muhammad. He is with us this evening. Brother Chad Muhammad is a native of Tampa, Florida. He was introduced to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in 1993, becoming a registered member in 1994. Brother Chad is a husband of 25 years and a loving father of 3. He is currently employed at Legacy Preparatory Academy School, where he teaches personal development skills to middle school students. He has served in the Prison Reform Ministry as a student record keeper, student FOI coordinator, student FOI captain in the cities of Tampa and St. Petersburg, Florida. He now serves as the student minister of Mosque 47. Brother Chad is humble and honored to serve first and foremost as a brother and a fellow believer. In the city of Tampa, Florida, he has developed a working relationship with the local chapter of the NAACP, the Koch Foundation, Tampa Hillsborough Action Plan, Inc., the New Black Panther Party, Andrew Joseph Foundation, Black Business Bus Tour, and other local programs and grassroots organizations who work on behalf of the liberation of our people in the city of Tampa. Now, if you all can welcome our brother student minister Chad Muhammad to the board.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Bring him up.
Bring him up.
Bring him up.
There we go.
Are we getting him? Is he coming?
Walaikum salam, sir.
There he is.
Awesome. Awesome. So before we get started, and then I will turn it over to, I believe Sister Felicia will ask the first question, but I wanted to give an opportunity for Brother Willie to kind of maybe say a couple of words before we get started, and then Student Minister Chad Muhammad as well, just to give a few words, and then we'll start in with our questions.
So first of all, assalamu alaikum to each and every one of you all. And
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to serve, and thank you all for continuing to be consistent and putting forward the ministries to the public and to our community. So I greatly appreciate that, and I know the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does as well.
All praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. It's on me now.
It's
Yes,
on you,
sir.
Brother Chad.
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
The most holy name of Allah, Beneficent, the merciful, bearing witness there's no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. I concur with our dear brother, Student Minister Willie, and just, thanking you all for the honor and the privilege of being on this show, and also just congratulating you on all of the work that you have been doing and continue to do, and continue just held in the banner. 7th Region Coalition is dear to me. I don't know. It may be something about that region. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the region. It's the region.
It is.
It's the region.
I'm a little familiar with that region for some reason. But I love y'all, family. Thanks for having us. Praise be to Allah.
You too, sir.
Praise be to Allah. So,
Alhamdulillah.
Sister Felicia, you're up.
All right. Such an honor to be able to engage with my brothers. So, Brother Minister Chad, I'm going to read the beginning of Surah 94 out in Shura, the expansion. Okay. Have we not expanded for you your breast with divine light and removed from you your burden, which weighed down your back and exalted for you your mention? Surely with difficulty is ease. With difficulty is surely ease. It took hard work and difficulty to transform the Tampa Study Group into Muhammad's Mosque number 47. How has your strong interaction with the community and at times the settling of differences played a vital role in accomplishing this?
Praise be to Allah. You coming out the bag with it, Beautiful question. Alhamdulillah. I tell you this, I think about when we was a study group, and I remember coming into the post, and when I came into the post, I remember as a year or two passed, I kind of started to think, am I the person to be over the study group? Because I just couldn't see how a study group would keep remaining a study group. Like it just didn't make sense to me to think about, you got a city of Tampa that has nearly 100,000 black people, that we cannot get 40 active believers that would just commit to being in the Nation of Islam. So I'm like, I don't think I might not be him, So, I really was kind of thinking like that. But just kept striving, meeting different people and seeing, going to my predecessors, those that was before me, seeing the work that they was involved with, and seeing how that worked, and then just working with the believers, and I contribute that to a lot of our success. Like in Tampa, we have a good group, and everybody may feel like this in every study group in Mosque, but the believers here, the spirit of the believers is just, it's just wonderful. Like it's a loving spirit. It's that family-oriented spirit
Beautiful.
And you know, just to have the backing of my wife, my family, and the believers as we go out in the community. And we started building relationship with different organizations. And when we would come in numbers. So it's like the Nation of Islam would be the biggest of the numbers that's there. So it started to be like, they would start inviting us to everywhere. You know, hey, we need y'all there. We want y'all to be here. We need you to speak. And at first it was kind of, you know, like, we want you to open up in prayer. And it, you know, and I would talk to, you know, the pioneer of the city, Student Minister James, and those that went before me. Just like, nah, you know, they wouldn't ask the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to come and open up a prayer. He's like, if you're going to open up in prayer, you need to share some words. So it started to be like that, you know. Okay, I'll open up in prayer, but I'm gonna speak after opening up in prayer. So we helped to build that camaraderie with a lot of the grassroots organizations here. And we wanted to make sure that we participate in what they have going on, just as we would invite them to participate in what we have going on. And we start to grow, and in time, just, you know, coming up with ideas that we can pull from them. You know, one of the biggest things based on the 9 ministries, that's something that we do on a monthly basis, where we will have one of the 9 ministries on a Wednesday, and we will promote very hard within the community with some of those same relationships that we build. And it has been a success. When we was a study group, we was at #1 study group at one time because of the numbers that it was bringing in. So now we're using that same format as a mosque, and it's been very successful with us. And it helped us to build relationship with those of different organizations. And it's based upon what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, and I ended with this. He says, better to be united by principles than divided by labels. And that's what we look at the root. That's how we come together in unity and not be divided. And that has been the core of what have helped us to go from a study group to mosque status.
Beautiful.
Just the spirit of the believers in that working relationship with the community. Thank you, family.
Oh,
Praise be to
Praise
Allah.
is due to Allah.
Yeah.
Listen, I too share those same sentiments. Y'all Mars off the chain, Brother Chad. I mean, the family there is like an extension of our family. And I mean, it's always a warming and welcoming spirit when I come to your Mars. Well, the Mars. I can't say your Mars. The Mars.
That's right.
You know, Muhammad Mars.
Come on.
So praises be to Allah.
Very
Yes,
beautiful
sir.
believers.
Praise be to Allah.
All right, let's see who's up next. I think it's you, Sister Kalila. You up next?
Is it?
Yes.
Am I?
No, it's actually Brother Philip.
It's Brother Philip.
That's Brother Philip. It's Brother Philip.
Yeah. Brother Philip.
Some lady family.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I can. Can y'all hear me?
We
I
can't
can hear you.
Can you hear me well? Microphone check.
We can hear you, beloved.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I've been patiently awaiting in the dugout. Then they put me on the base. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh, I'm out here in the sticks.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
So Student Minister Willie, here we go. Oh, the sign came up. All right, here we go. So Student Minister Willie, in John 15:15, it reads, I am the vine, you are the branches. And so how is your use of social media through I Have a Testimony, how did that play a key role in bringing us closer within the Nation of Islam, and then with the larger Nation of Islam, our people in general, bringing us together?
I'm smiling. I've never been on a show. Y'all quoting scripture in the questions. Huh?
Yeah, we have to. We got this. Good. This is a new one.
That's good though. That's good.
New one too.
Wow, that's a very good question and a very good scripture. And you said, you know, one of the main ideas behind the I Have a Testimony show is several things. One, I'm not saying one is several. The scripture in the Bible in Book of Revelation that said that the dragon was defeated by the blood of the Lamb and the power of their testimony, right? That was one. And the other one time, you heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say this very passionately in a believers meeting. He said that my testifiers, my witness bearers are too damn silent.
Wow.
And so one time we had the blessing to be at the dinner table with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Houston in the whole hotel suite. And Sister Claudette had just wrote her book, and the minister did the foreword for her book. And the minister was going over the book with her, saying that even though that they had a working relationship, he didn't know all of those things about her. And the minister said, these are the stories that I don't get the chance to hear. So I left that meeting, and when I returned home to the city as a birth anniversary gift, we asked the believers who wanted to participate to type up their journey on how they came to Islam, their testimony. And we put it in a book and sent it to the minister. And from that point, I have just tried to collect testimonies of people that, especially those who are around the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, those who are on the actual security team, because they have witnessed things that if they share, we can take what they witnessed and find it in the scripture, right? To add to our belief that this man is walking in the divine, right? So that's one of the purpose of it. And also to beat back this effort by the enemy to paint the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a man who is anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-Jew, anti-whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So the purpose of that show is to help people get to see the man. As the minister said, he talks about, if you don't know me by scripture, you don't know me, right? And it's interesting. I'll say this as I close. I would encourage your listeners, and I think, Brother Philip, this might be in the book of John as well. Go and study what happened when John the Baptist sent his disciples to go and question Jesus about if he was the one or should they look for another. It's interesting how Jesus answered that question. He didn't respond back teaching him scriptures.
No.
All he started doing was casting the demons out of those who were demon possessed, helping the blind see, helping the mute speak, healing the sick. And then he told John the Baptist disciples, go and tell John what you see, and then he said what you hear. So a lot of times when we're talking about, if we talk about how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what he does, how he has healed people, how he has helped people who were blind mentally and some even physically have the ability to see. Those who truly want to know Jesus and those who truly have a desire to understand Jesus better, they will hear that and say, man, that man is like Jesus, because he does. You see what I'm saying? And I'll close, and I'll encourage you on our YouTube page, and I'll send it. I'll put it we'll have them put it in the chat.
Please.
I had it when we did the testimony with Brother Rashad from the E team. He shared a testimony with a sister who's not in the Nation of Islam. She is a former NYPD police officer. And this sister said at the beginning of the year, every year she would go on a fast. Every year at the beginning of the year. And she said one day when she was in a fast, a spirit just came over and said, get up out of the bed. I got something to tell you, or whatever. And when she got up, the spirit told her, you are about to meet God. She didn't understand what was talking about. Fast forward some months past, she met Brother Don. Brother Don introduced her to Brother Rashad, and they set it up where she had the opportunity to meet the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. She met the minister. Nobody knew about a health condition that she was dealing with. And she said when she came into the minister's presence, she felt like a bolt of energy in the part of her body where she was having this illness, right? And if you listen to what she said the minister told her, and if you line it up in the scripture about Jesus dealing with the woman that has an issue of blood, it is almost the same thing.
Wow.
Mm.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But that's one of those reasons that's one of the many reasons of why we try to do that with I Have a Testimony.
Mm,
Praise
beautiful.
Allah. Thank you so much for that
Phenomenal,
answer.
phenomenal.
Man.
Dear family,
Wow.
we do have a question from the audience for both Student Minister Chad and for Student Minister Willie. And this is from our brother Kokai, who's been on the program before. He's out
Brother
working.
Kokai! Hey!
He's out working in Oregon, trying to unify our people there. So this is a brother
Absolutely.
that's out doing the work. And so he poses the question, how do we center self-actualization as the basis for unity instead of agreement with ideology?
Mm, very good
Good
question.
question.
Brother,
Okay, I'm
Brother
listening.
Minister Will, you could go first. Man.
Right.
You won't start it off, I'll build
I'm
off of
really
you.
trying to, how do we center
Mhm.
self-actualization as the basis for unity instead of agreement with ideology? I'm trying to understand the question. Self-actualization. Can somebody like further explain? Like,
Perhaps what he's asking, the question that he's asking centers more like on self-actualization, like finding our purpose in life, rather than
Well,
try
ideology.
to agree
I
with
would even
everything that we teach, I believe.
Somebody else is about to add to that.
I was going to say, Brother Philip, you were about to
I'll just
say something?
accept
Well,
your
let's
own
look
and
at
be yourself, right?
well,
So in
let's
that
do
line,
let's look
be
at it.
yourself.
Well, let's look at it like this. Let's look at the actual word of actualization. It's making real or giving the appearance of reality. So if we're doing self, actually, it's making real or giving the appearance of reality. So dealing with the reality of the basis of unity versus this ideology. Like for instance, Christmas. They say that, oh, Christmas is the coming of, Jesus, and Jesus was born, and we should be united with this reality of Christmas being this unity type holiday, versus the reality of it is it's pretty much the crucifixion of what it's not. It's definitely something that's not real. It's definitely something that's false, and we idolize that. Okay,
Well,
what to
focusing
say?
on the meaning, and Kokai
Yeah,
agreed with you.
yeah. But Kokai said, "Wow, she's good." I try to be. I try to be.
Yes.
I try to be.
I think in regards to sometimes the world's misrepresentation of a certain thing kind of turns us against certain things. Not all ideologies are bad, right? So, because when you think about it, what's coming to my mind right now, when you look at the coming of Master Farad Muhammad, the purpose was to give us a body of knowledge that can help us self-actualize ourselves, to begin to start knowing who we are, right? Because remember, it said collectively, we all are Allah. So when each and every one of us begins to start growing into our divine God power, what our attribute of Allah is, then as we maximize that, then we will find our place in the work of resurrection. And the more we begin to start self-actualizing, the less we begin to start hating on one another. The less envy that you see, the less jealousy that you see. Because Christmas just passed, and some years ago I did a lecture talking about showing how as they look for Christmas gifts, God has given every human being a gift. So we don't need to be jealous over somebody. Well, why God gave that to them? God gave us something, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Brother Jabril said, that God has given each of us something that we can do perfectly. Because we think so less of ourselves, we never spend enough time going into ourselves, studying ourselves to bring out what Allah put in us. And then when you find those who do that, and they have done the work, they have examined themselves, they have analyzed themselves, right? They have done the self-correction. some people who are not doing that type of work gets jealous of them. So if we really spend the time on cultivating ourselves, it will produce a unity, and we will know where we fit in the work of resurrection. Think about it with Noah's Ark. Every animal, of course, we know is not a literal story, but let's look at this, what we can pull from it. It is said that he brought on 2 of every kind of all animals. That means he had a lion on there and a sheep, a giraffe, and all of this other stuff. That means that every animal that was brought on this ark served and played a purpose in the building of the kingdom of God. Now, we know that's symbolic of this ark, the Nation of Islam. That means that every believer, all of us are called here for a reason.
Come on now.
But when we don't think much of ourselves, we don't look for our gift. When we don't think much of ourselves, we think that the sum total of being a Muslim is talking about how great the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is, and he is great, or how great the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, and he is great. But remember, God raised these great men so that you and I can see our greatness. But if we don't think nothing of ourselves, we don't see our greatness.
Right.
So sometimes when God allows somebody to see our greatness, we say all praise is due to Allah, and we should say that. But in our minds, sometimes the all praise is due to Allah is a covering for a feeling of I'm not what they say I am.
Yeah.
Us are more comfortable when somebody tells us something negative about ourselves than something positive. And I'll close on this. When we have that mindset, we become like the man who was given the talent. And when he was given 1 talent, he took it and he buried it.
Buried it.
What?
And then when the man came back, when his master came back and said, yo, what did you do with the talent that I gave you? He began to project his fear on his master.
Right.
And his fear made him look at his master. Are you a man that wants something and you don't do any type of work? You're a hard taskmaster. But all of that was a cover for his fear. And some of us, because we don't believe in ourselves, brothers and sisters, we never even try. And how can we develop or meet self-actualization if we're afraid to try? And one of the reasons we have the story in the Bible about we know that Peter tried to walk on water symbolically is because Peter tried. We don't know who else was on the boat. You know why? Because they didn't try. And I'm closing. I'm closing from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We were in the hotel in Los Angeles.
Come on.
And we were up there. This was prior to 10/10/15. And my captain was with us. So normally the student ministers go into the room and have dinner with the minister. But Brother Don set it up where the captains who were present could go into the suite and at least greet the minister. Brother Captain Dennis went in, and when our captain, Brother Jason, went in, the minister said, how are you doing today, brother? He said, oh, Brother Minister, my day is great now that I've had the honor to see you and greet you and shake your hand. The minister said, no, the honor is all mine. He said, I'm honored to meet you and shake your hand and learn your name. And then the minister looked around at everybody in the room. He said, when I say that oftentimes to people, they're like, oh, that's the minister just trying to make us feel good, trying to lift us up. He said, no, I'm really am honored. He said, I don't have to know you, but I know that there's God in you.
Come on.
But if you take my good words about you and you walk away and say, oh, that's just Minister Farrakhan trying to make me feel good, then he say, you lessen what God has allowed me to see in you.
Wow. Beautiful.
Allahu Akbar.
Praises due to Allah.
Mr. Chad, same question. How do we center self-actualization as the basis for unity instead of agreement with ideology?
Alhamdulillah. Beautiful. In addition to what Student Minister Willie said, which was so grand, first thing that come to mind is, meeting people where they at. We have to realize that Allah made all of us different with different expressions of them. And I think of the supreme wisdom when it talks about, that we didn't care about the poor part. We have to concentrate on the best part. And to me, doing that and dealing with our idea that question is thinking about how can we be the best part ourselves. Not condemning the dirty glass, but just being the clean glass, you know, send that clean glass when they see us and they start to realize, you know, like, you know, what makes you like this? You know, I notice you don't use profanity when you talk, you know. Why you stop eating such and such? Why don't you celebrate Christmas? See, when they ask us that, we're not the aggressor when we speak about things, because sometimes we can come off, you know, real aggressive. You know, I done seen posts on social media. Okay, look, if you don't celebrate Christmas and I do, don't condemn me for, you know, it's posts that come off like that. And you know how we are. You know, we would get on there and just start running. Jeremiah 10, you know,
Nimrod.
we would do it. We would go off, you know, but we have to realize, you know, Allah is bringing our people along, and sometimes we just do too much. It's just too much. I mean, it's just a lot. So we have to, you know, once we get the confidence of where we stand,
Right.
then just be the example. Let us be the example, and I think that'll let that will let our light shine, and they will see what we're doing and who's responsible for that change, that transformation. And then we just give the credit to who it is. And we say, all praise due to Allah. So to me, that's the best way that we can do that, by Allah's faith.
Praise
be to Allah. Yeah.
Okay.
Brother Mark.
I don't think we have any other questions, right, Brother Tony?
We do, Brother Mark.
Okay.
Okay, well, this goes to Brother Minister Willie. The work you and the believers have been doing in New Orleans with conflict resolution has been nationally and internationally acclaimed. The minister teaches us peace is the fruit of justice. However, many don't typically associate conflict resolution and the unity and peace it produces as a process of spiritual development and growth. Can you elaborate on the spiritual side of the work in getting men and women to settle their differences and squash the beef?
Hey, y'all coming with some heavy questions.
Listen, we ready for y'all.
We came prepared.
The new and improved Thursday night talks. Let's hear it.
That's some heavy questions. All of, what comes to my mind right now is, you know, to be able to see ourselves as a spiritual person, there's some qualities and characteristics that we have to have that'll be essential. And one of them is the ability to forgive. Like,
Hello.
you can't be a spiritual person or a believer in God without the ability to forgive. And when I'm able to conduct marriages ceremonies, I bring that up, that the same qualities that we need to be a good believer are the same qualities that we also need to be effective in our marriage. You can't be married and don't want to forgive. So how that relates to conflict resolution is that the spiritual side of it is being able to forgive, right? And being able to allow people the opportunity to make amends. I'm two things I'm gonna say. I had the opportunity this week to go see the musical Color Purple, right? And from what I remember of the first one in comparison to this second one, one of the glaring differences in this second one is there's a greater presence of redemption that was not present in the first one when it came to certain of the male characters.
Oh, okay.
Is the redemption is heavy. And so that brings me to something that I heard the barber of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tell me, Brother Arthur. We were in Chicago and I was there to do a conflict resolution training with some barbers. And I'm like, hey man, I know you cut the minister hair, man. I know you got some jewels you can share. And he said, well, let me share this to you. He said that he sought the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's guidance when he was cutting his hair about something that he was personally going through. He said, Brother Minister, how do you know when you are responding to an offense where somebody has offended you and you are leading with your ego? And listen, the minister said this. He said, when you respond to their offense in a way that does not give them an opportunity to redeem themselves or grow in that situation, he says, then you're responding out of your ego.
Makes
When-
sense. Makes sense.
When we want to respond and just annihilate them, when we want to respond in such a way as if we've never offended anybody, we've never done anybody wrong, we have never been in a seat of mercy, in need of mercy, and of need of grace. So that's one of the things that we have to bring to conflict resolution. We got to understand that, yo, I've been there. When I'm driving, sometimes I have my moments of road rage. One of the things that I do personally, when somebody do something, I try to stop and ask myself, have I ever done the same thing to somebody else who was driving?
Exactly.
And then I fall back because I've done it. And I think we need to do that. Sometimes we forget that there are people that we have offended.
That's right.
And how will we want to, if we offended somebody, wouldn't we want to be given a second chance? And that's what we have to do. Because that's what God has done for us and is doing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Every day. Every day.
Praise be to Allah.
Excellent.
That part.
Yes.
All right. Wow. Does anybody want to else expound on that before we move on to the next question?
Say amen to it.
No, that was a mic drop right in itself.
Okay.
Enough said.
All right. Perfect. So, Brother Tony, I believe now you're up, correct?
No, you're up.
It's the way our notes read. Anyway, all right. So
I do have a question, Sister Michelle, and this is something very, very critical because there's a lot of confusion when it comes down to if you never encountered members of the Nation of Islam, you get there's already a misunderstanding because of so much that is being said about us. But to both Student Minister Chad and Student Minister Willie, my question to you is: does unity mean uniformity? What exactly does unity mean when our people are suffering and have dire needs? I pose that question to both of you.
I'll let Brother Chad respond to that.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful question, Brother Tony. Yeah, unity and uniformity is most definitely two different things. You know?
Come
on. Uniformity is going to be expecting us all to look the same, do the same thing at the same time. It's just that one way of doing it. While with unity, you'll see, it's like the organs of the body. The heart don't expect for the lungs to do what the heart do, but yet it's unity there. It's organization that's taking place. I think about, you look at the Quran, like we got two different books, right? We got two different books. The Muslims is known for the Quran, while our Christian brothers and sisters are known for the Bible.
Come on.
But yet we take both of them in unity. We see it as a marriage happening, a right hand and left hand working together.
Beautiful.
Just working together. Now, in the Holy Quran, there's a surah that's called Al-Ikhlas of the unity, right?
Come on.
And that's surah 112. And in the first verse of it, it says, say he, Allah, is one.
Come on.
So that's that. So unity always going to start with one. It's unity before unity, right? But then the second thing say Allah is he on whom we all depend. So it always going to be one there, but then it's going to be others under. Like I see the commonality. I see that we depend on him. We rely on him. So we achieve unity by finding commonality, by finding shared interests, by finding common goals. And if God is who we all rely on, then the common interest, the foundation of unity should be based upon God-centered, being God-centered. Now, but look, the Bible said a different way. But look how Jesus said. Jesus said, I and my Father are one.
One.
Right? But they go to one again. But look, but after they become one, look at the followers that comes up under is the 12 disciples. So you got the 1 and the 12. See, that's 112 again. That's
Come on, man.
That's the unity again right there.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Right.
You see?
Good God, brother.
But
Chad.
it's two different avenues. It's two different ways to see it that we could go. We have to show them, like, look, we could come together and we can do this. Don't let the labels divide us. We have to come together. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, love and unity of self and kind is the key to our salvation. So we have to build things based upon those principles. And I think that's how to help us to see unity is more power than uniformity by Allah's grace.
And students, the chat in that surah entitled Unity in the Holy Quran, you know, it says it begins with Kul huwa Allahu ahad. Ahad is not wahid. Wahid, it means one in Arabic. What ahad means is out of many, one.
That's right.
And so that is speaking about the unity.
There you go. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for that footnote, Brother Tony. Absolutely.
Mr. Willie, do you have anything to add, sir?
My man busting out that Arabic, man, making me want to start my Arabic classes again.
That's right.
I think, like, look at the human body. You know, you have organs that they don't look the same. They're not the same size. They don't even have the same purpose, but they all are working in accord to keep the human body alive. And a lot of, like, it goes back to this sometimes when we don't develop ourselves, the envy comes in. And then there's this effort to want to make everybody do the same thing. And there's a reason. I just was listening to something and they talked about how Master Farah Muhammad, he knew, what was it, over 200,000 years of history, right?
Right.
And he knows all of this history, but we can count on two hands the history that he left us with: the self-creation of Allah, the creation of the woman, creating the universe, the deportation of the moon. Yes, think about all the history that he knew about, but he only left us with those really about less than 10 histories: Tribe of Shabazz, Yaqub, stuff like that, right? And that's why I think there is a lot in the history about the scientists in the moon that we may be that we may not be fully extracting.
Right.
So if you look at it, here's a man of great intelligence got upset because he was trying to get everybody to do the same thing.
Speak the same dialect. That's right.
To speak the same dialect. And how many of us blow up efforts of unity because we can't achieve uniformity?
Come on.
No, you got to do it the same way I do it.
Come on.
How many of our mosques and our study groups, don't reach its full potential because we're trying to make everybody's contribution look and be the same.
Right. That is true. Talk about it.
You see what I'm saying? So that we're missing the point. All of us are brought here to do something else. The heart doesn't do the same thing that the eyes do. But that's why we gotta, going back to that self-actualization, find out why I am here. And we'll begin to start appreciating other people's contribution.
Right.
Sounds like self-accusation. Was it actualization?
Actualization, right. Self-actualization.
That's what that sounds like. That's what that sounds like. Okay. Well, praise be to Allah, Brother Willie and Brother Chad. I have a question for Brother Chad. As a co-host of the long-running landmark show, Closing the Gap, which implies unity in its title, interestingly, we have intergenerational gaps between children, parents, grandparents, affecting households and communities, unity and progress. Your show highlights dialogue between the generations. Pioneer Brother James and yourself and Sister Starla. Was that deliberate, I think that's what that says, and what lessons can our audience draw from its terms of closing the gap at home through media, and through constructive dialogue to establish unity through spiritual development in those arenas.
Praise be to
Ooh,
Allah.
y'all come with some questions.
That's a lot.
That's
a paragraph.
question.
Praise be to Allah. So, and I'm thinking because you said so much. If you can sum it up for me, because I'm going. I need to go back to the beginning and pick up any additional data. You know, so
I'm gonna start from here. It says this show highlights dialogue between the generations. You know, with your brother James and yourself, Mrs. Starla. Was that deliberate? And what lessons can our audience draw from in terms of closing the gap at home through media, through the constructive dialogue? It's kind of what you all do, right? That establishes unity and how it kind of peers or tears into spiritual development. And it can go from any different angle. You all are talking and bringing so much to the table. And the topics that you bring and the type of guests that you bring. But I think through all of that, how does it establish, or how can you explain that dialogue that establishes unity through spiritual development? And again, in either all or some arenas that you think that would be important to share with our audience tonight.
Look at Brother James helping you out. Look at Brother James.
He said, look, if you mention my name, I gotta go in on this.
Yes, sis.
That's right. Praise be to Allah. I remember the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he was talking about the process of coming up with the idea of the Million Man March. And, you know, of course, he was doing the Stop the Killing tour. And one of the things he said, there has to be a cause bigger than the things that divide us for us to come together. And he said that in the cause that was bigger than all of us and the organizations, the churches, the mosques that we represented was Black youth in the war that was raging on our young people. Right? So that common denominator of seeing about, okay, well, look, it's so much that's going on with the Black youth, the killing of Black youth. So it sparked an idea about that led us toward the Million Man March, right? It closed the gap. So now from Stop the Killing, it grew to you got millions of people coming out and seeing the importance of our unity and coming together in respect for life. You know, I think about, and I'll mention this since we mentioned Student Minister James also. You think about with Student Minister James, he had me as a senior like close to 25 years.
Yes, sir.
He has been around in the Nation of Islam during the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad time. But we can come together on a show as peers about a show that's talking about closing the gap. And one of the things is that we practice closing that gap. We don't see, like when I'm with Student Minister James, I don't see him, you know, I respect him, of course, as an elder and as a pioneer. But Islam has unified us that it doesn't see no age. Like we're 16 again. Like we can talk about things. I mean, we could go soldier, we could go out to the people. He smile, I smile, we laugh, we have fun. Of course, with Sister Starla the same way. So the spirituality part comes from realizing that God is at the center, and then that we have to close the gap between God and Satan, that everything, like we should start to get closer to him the more that we give up our old ways, that we have to give up something. That's the reality of it. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, there's no way to have unity unless we give up the thing that keep us from having unity. So a lot of times you think about, you know, trying to unite with people that teach integration, trying to unite with people that think that we can't do anything except that we have white people backing us. that look, yeah, we got to have this meeting. I think it's great, but we have to have some white people got to be there. You know, they just think like they got to be there. You know, it have to happen. Then you see that it's a gap there between that building of that relationship, because they feel in one way, or they think in one way, and they want it to be that way, and they feel like that's the only way that we can do it. Then look, we have to come together on common interests, on common goal to say, okay, well, this is what we're doing. And at this time, look, they're not allowed in the meeting. They can't come here. We don't need them for that. So it helps to close the gap between thinking that, look, we can only do this by integration and we can't do it. We have to realize sometime in unity, separation is needed. You see, because, and that could sound foreign to people. Like, how do you unite by separating? Okay, because we have to get away from certain people to be able to unite, to realize that we cannot live together disagreeable all the time. It's like being in a husband and wife. Every time you see them, you just fussing. Every time, fussing and fussing. Like, is it any good moments? No, but that's how we are today with our open enemy.
Come on.
So we have to realize that. So that's how I would see closing that gap, dear sister, and on the spiritual level by Allah's faith.
Praises be to Allah. So this is our closing question, and this is going to actually be for both of you in regards to this question. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated that our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb or nitrogen bomb. Please expound on this quote as it relates to unity in a spiritual development of our people and humanity. We're going to start with you, Brother Willie.
I thought I was gonna have a moment to go quickly Google and research nitrogen.
I got you, brother. Hold on, let me look it up.
Every question y'all ask have had me do. If you notice, when you look at, you're gonna see my eyes go up. I'm like, I'm really thinking about this. Like, yo, this is really you know, what comes to mind. I don't know, like the difference between the hydrogen atomic. But I believe that all of them, and y'all can correct me, all of them in some way, shape, or form deal with the atom. Is that right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Some way, shape, or form. So you think about the atom is something that's so small you can't even see it with the human eye. So these little things that will really be, they're not even seen by people with their regular eye. They're not even seen as being significant, but they're so important. If they're able to come together, they can make something as destructive and powerful as these type of bombs, right? That you see now these world powers have. But think about as that relates to us as believers, that if we're able to come together and unify, what will we be able to do? Mm-hmm. Look at this world look at this world that we are currently under right now, that is on its demise, but it's been in existence and running things for over 6,000 some years.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It only started with 59,999 people plus one, 60,000, right? So these people, this small group of people, because they were unified, they all adhered to what they were instructed to do, if they didn't, they lost their lives. And look at what that produced, and that's the devil.
Mm.
So what could we do if we really unify? As like Brother James posted in a thing, if we put our vanities to side. And I think it goes back to what we talked about, the dynamic question the brother actually opened up talking about, that self-actualization. A lot of times we can't get in where we fit in to do the unity because we don't really know that we are. We don't know where we are. You know, you see children, they're putting in a circle peg, the square peg. If they've studied themselves, well, I'm a circle peg, or I'm a square, or I'm a triangle, then they know I need to be here. I need to be there. My brother is the square. She's the triangle, and let's all operate on that. So that's why it is greatly important for each and every one of us to really take time to study ourselves,
right,
and accept our good and understand this is my gift, and not to have arrogance, but be confident in this is what I'm here for. Because some people, when they find out their gift and they're confident, some people view that as arrogant.
Mm.
They don't really be arrogant. These people are really confident in what they believe in. They're confident, no, this is what God has raised me. And when we find that out, we move more with intention. We ain't hesitant. We know this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm meant to do. And I think that's the thing that we have to understand. And if we're able to do it, we'll be able to unify. As a people, we can't take advantage of the wealth that comes in our community. Why? Because we're not unified. We can't take advantage of the vote. Why? Because we're not unified. We can't even take advantage of our cultural brilliance. Why? Because we're not unified. And that's
right.
the one thing that the enemy has been working to make sure that they keep us disunited.
That's right.
So if we can do that, we can achieve that atomic bomb power or hydrogen bomb power that is said that we can produce if we unify.
That's right. Well,
Praises be to Allah. All right. Brother Chad, would you like for me to repeat the question, or do you already have something cooking in the oven?
No, ma'am. You don't have to. we all know that. Unity is more powerful, okay, than an atomic or nitrogen bomb. All right. I think like on Message of the Black Man also, where the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, in unity, we can accomplish much. And then he goes into talking about just giving a kind of example of how, an economic blueprint, that if you take 20 million of us, the number for back then, and we will all set aside $1 per year for ourselves and put it in the national treasury, he talks about what we can do, with pulling up resources. And that's power in that. Then we can really make demands on doing things. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan also said, the unity of more than 30 million of us in America would guarantee our survival. Then he goes on to say, in fact, the unity of 1 million of us in America would guarantee survival for all of our people. And that's powerful. So that's showing the power of unity. In the Holy Quran in Surah 3, verse 103, it talks about it saying, hold fast to the rope of Allah all together and be not divided.
That's right.
Yeah, look at that. But Allah has to be the center. He has to be the foundation of what we're holding on to, because he is what we all depend on, right? And then it's saying, be not divided. So come together in unity, right? If family is the cornerstone of our nation, and you think about how a family, I always tell people it's two things that we commit to for life, and that's our God and our family. You don't go into a marriage and be like, I'm gonna try this out for a few years and see how it goes. You think of it as a lifetime commitment, and that's the same way how it is. You say, you know what, I'm gonna try that muscle out and see. I'm gonna give it 2 years, and then I might try Catholic. You think about, like when I'm going into this is for life,
right?
And that's the power of it, because you thinking it's longevity, and that's how family is. That's the same way. So when we look at marriage, you think about, a man and a woman. Once again, unity is being shown. In African tradition, you think about from the man and the woman, it produces a family. Then from two families, it produces a clan. Then from two clans, it produces a tribe. From two tribes, a nation. From two nations, an empire. You see how it steady grows. That comes from unity. So that shows the power of that, when we can get together, what we can do. And I think it's something that we should all sit back and just imagine sometime. Just sit back and think like, dang, what would it look like if the different organizations come together in unity? Once again, big to think on the tip of unity, not uniformity. We don't all have to have garments and FOI uniforms and suits and bow ties but if we work in the principle, what would it look like? And with the Million Man March, it gives us a glimpse of that, to see how when we was coming together on the principle of reconciliation, the principle of reparation, the principle of just coming together in unity, you see what we can accomplish, and you see the power of that nuclear atomic bomb, an expression of that, how atoms coming together and working together, and then what's coming out of it by Allah's grace.
Praises be to Allah. All right. So with that being said, we have our tree of the week. And of course, guess what our tree of the week is? Unity. Look, you got UNITY. Okay, because again, this is our Unity series. So with our Unity series, we are actually looking in the lens of spiritual development. So with our tree of the week, it says Unity teaches us that each person is uniquely expressive of God's creative with sacrifice worth. Living with that awareness transforms our life in this world. Unity analyzes the creative power of thought through our own life experiences. Unity means oneness. We are all one energy, one life. All of the sciences and spirituality supports this idea, which we call truth. We are all access this core of understanding within ourselves. Our lives are a laboratory, and we are the scientists of that laboratory. And that is Unity in a spiritual development scope. Assalamu alaikum. Allahu Akbar. So, I want to quickly go over the announcements really quickly, and then we're going to do what we call a roundup. So, the announcements, stay tuned to our 9-show ministry of why we must unite through the 9 ministries. It actually started today. So guess what, Brother Minister Willie and Minister Chad, you are our first guests for this series.
Whoa.
Praises be to Allah. Praises be. So please stay tuned to our next shows. We're going to go all through the 9 ministries. We have 8 more to go in regards to this Unity series. Okay. Also, Savior's Day is coming.
Yes.
Woo! It's going to be in Detroit, Michigan. It's going to be at the Huntington Place. So if you all did not get your tickets, let me tell you something. First of all, you're going to have to sleep with somebody at Detroit because the Muslims got the whole Detroit on lock. I'm telling you, it's just like, they should just rent out Detroit to us for that weekend. I think that's what they should do. And then we kind of like patrol our own, streets and everything because it's going to be a lot. I'm just saying. So if you can get your ticket, it will be February the 23rd through the 25th. Now, you know what? I remember back in the days, Brother Willie, we used to go out and we used to say, hey, have you ever heard of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? They were like, well, you go, where we'll be in Detroit or where we'll be at whatever city that we'll have Savior's Day. And we were like, hey, do you have a ticket? We have an extra ticket for you. And we normally give up our seat, right? For them to actually partake in the event. So I don't know. I don't mind giving up my seat. I know that you. I'll be working anyway. So please come and see me. I got an extra ticket for y'all. Come and see me. I would be more than happy to give up my seat for you to hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or whomever is going to be in the place to be representing us for this upcoming Savior's Day. Again, it will be February the 23rd through the 25th.
Sister
And
Kalila,
yes,
if I may add, tickets
absolutely.
fast.
That's what I'm just saying. It's crazy. It's crazy. I said I'd give up my seat, because I'll be working. So I would give up my seat. So, but please, go to, oh my God, you can go to Ticketmaster. That's one way you can get your ticket. You can go to NOI.org and get your tickets. They are going fast. So please, please, please stay tuned. Get your tickets as soon as possible. My suggestion is to get more than one. because there's not going to be any anymore. So definitely get your ticket. And that is it. So with that being said, we're going to close out. We're going to start with you, Brother Chad, for closing remarks.
Praise be to Allah. Once again, I just want to thank you. Thank you all just for having me on the show. Beautiful dialogue. It's always a pleasure being here with my other brother and student in the ministry, brother student minister Willie, another Closing the Gap family. You know, so it's good. I believe that we're showing unity right now, right?
That's right.
Closing the Gap in the 7th Region Coalition. So
Right.
This is an application. This just don't work in theory. This is very applicable. So I just want to say to our listening audience, you know, stay tuning in, stay supporting this show, and the many more to come, because I think it's just a great idea with dealing with the 9 ministries. I mean, we can't go wrong with that, and it's a good way also to get our people, you know, just in tune, because it's for everybody. You don't have to be
That's right.
to be part of this 9 ministry. You know, so
That's right.
get our people to tune in and hear what the 7th Region Coalition got going on, and continue to show support. We just thank you. May Allah continue to keep up the great work that you have been doing, and continue just to grow the 7th Region Coalition. Thank y'all. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother Willie, you up next.
It's the same thing, just gratitude. And I'm glad that Brother Chad pointed that out, because, you know, this is an example of showing that we are unified, you know, because sometimes, unfortunately, even sometimes amongst believers who have shows like these, some of them see each other, they see one another as being in competition, like we're a family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always thankful for these opportunities, and whatever I can do to support you all in your efforts, please let me know. So thank you all, and don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop.
That's right.
Praises be to Allah. And with that being in mind, can you put up our Cash App? That was a good segue, Brother Willie. Our Cash App. It's basically, we need your support. And because, again, these shows are very beautiful. One, you know, viewer said it's a brilliant show. Our brilliance comes from our minds, but StreamYard comes from our pocket. So therefore, so we definitely need your support, brother. Brother Tony, can you pull that up? I mean, I'm not guiding tonight. I'm sorry.
We lost Sister Michelle. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we're there you go. Yay! Very simple.
Look, put 5 on it, but don't sing.
Yeah, 5 + 0 0 0. You got to realize yesterday's prices are not the same prices. Five is not.
If you want to say 5 0 0 without the dot,
right?
You can do that. But we're
praises be to Allah.
Donate, because we do have costs that we are incurring in bringing this program to you, which is a labor of love for us, under the direction of our student regional minister, student minister Patrick Muhammad. So whatever you're able to give, dear family, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Praises be to Allah. And with that being said, we are going to close out this beautiful segment, but always stay tuned to us. We are the 7th Region Coalition, where we are constantly helping save lives. And if we too have helped save your life, please, we also have an email address. Everything is at the bottom of the screen. Please support us. Let us know how we can help you, just by emailing us. And again, donations is always a blessing.
Sister Kalila,
yes.
Very quickly, Student Minister Willie's program that he mentioned.
Yes.
Earlier. Student Minister Willie, what was who did you interview in that program again? I'm sorry.
The sister, we posted it. I just posted it on my Facebook page, and we had somebody from our mosque posted it in the comments from the YouTube page. But she was a Detective Brown, and I'll tell you this: the sister, she appeared on, I forgot the show, 48 Hours. It comes on Saturday, because she's a domestic violence survivor. And she was
Mm.
actually, her ex-husband actually shot her and left her to die.
Oh, wow.
She has a book that's coming out, but she survived that. So she survived that. But this is the sister. I don't know if you can find her the show that they did on. It was on CBS, but it's in the comment section, and you just click on it. I would encourage you. You know, I would encourage you all to hear her story, and she tells her story, and it's amazing.
Praise
If
be to Allah.
you can't see it in the comments, it's on my Facebook page. I just posted it.
Okay, brother. You know, we're waiting on that invite, brother Willie. You know, I
something
have
else, as you were saying that, I thought about that, and I said, we're gonna have to do this and figure out. I don't know how many of you all it is, but we're gonna work it out.
we're gonna work it out. I'm gonna work it out. Yes, we are.
Soon, sooner than later. So be prepared. We're gonna work it out.
Tenfold. We're ready.
It's time, because you said that. I was just thinking that. So we're gonna do that.
Synergy is real.
That's
All right. Well, may Allah continue to bless you all. We will look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. Please listen up. Please stay tuned. Share. You can also share our show before the show starts. So definitely, once it comes up and it appears, just put it in somebody else's inbox. Yeah, definitely share. All right. So we love you all. Thank you all for your support, your dedication. And we are out. Brother Tony, can you close us out? Because
you want me to close out like how?
Go on, close us off.
Look,
shout out to Brother Lau.
Not a clique, not a crew. Who are we? We're the
7th Region Coalition.
Seventh Region, come on.